Well, it's a great honor to be here at the Ophthalmology Innovation Summit, and it's also a little bit fearful standing here between you and break. But I'm excited to be here today to announce the creation of SightLife Surgical, a company that will finally give us the resources and the means to innovate at the speed of need in cornea. Today, corneal blindness continues to be a significant problem, and it continues to grow. In fact, specifically, the need for cornea transplantation procedures and therapies here in the United States and around the world continue to grow with little or no innovation to stop the numbers of people growing who need cornea transplants. In fact, there are about 10 million people worldwide who suffer from corneal blindness that could have their sight restored today if they could receive a cornea transplant. In the US, there's about 50,000 procedures performed each year, with another 100,000 cornea transplant procedures being performed outside of the United States. And as you can see, that 150,000 supply to a demand of over 10 million is just a drop in the bucket. And that's why SightLife Surgical is coming into existence, because the cornea ecosystem is fragmented and unable to meet this challenge and in need of a champion. And SightLife Surgical is that champion. Just to give you an idea of the fragmentation that exists in this space, just in the eye banking portion of this space, today in the United States, there are about 80 different eye bank organizations in a relatively modest area of financial opportunity. We estimate that corneal tissue generates about $215 million in revenue in the US. And so if you take that fragmentation with a relatively modest market size, you essentially stunt advances in innovation and opportunity to benefit patients. In fact, the innovations have been minimal in this area. And this is, again, due to the little reward that comes with the smaller market size and that fragmentation. Additionally, creating a drag on patient access in this space are the reimbursements that are given to surgeons and facilities for performing cornea transplants and corneal therapies. And these are areas that SightLife Surgical is going to be taking on aggressively. SightLife, which is the parent organization of SightLife Surgical, has been growing and moving towards our mission of eliminating cornea blindness by 2040. That mission focus is what ultimately has led us to create SightLife Surgical. As the leading global health organization solely focused on eliminating cornea blindness, we provided nearly 25,000 corneas for transplant across the globe in 2015. We currently have about 225 employees and annual revenues in excess of $40 million. These allow us to have the base to launch SightLife Surgical so that we can begin to innovate at the speed of need in the cornea space. Our strategy is to bring more resources and innovation to the cornea space. To do this, as I said earlier, we've created SightLife Surgical, a for-profit organization, to generate the resources necessary to bring advances in innovation to corneal surgery and therapeutics. We're very fortunate to close our Series A funding, which was funded by Flying L Partners. Flying L Partners is led by Dr. Bill Link and several other of the top leaders in this space that you know and trust and have seen achieve great success in other areas. SightLife Surgical's board will be led by Bill Link, and we'll also have Dick Lindstrom serving on our board of directors as well. The strategy is to remain focused on the cornea ecosystem and accelerate growth, bringing new products and services to surgeons and their patients. Ultimately, SightLife Surgical will broaden its focus beyond cornea transplantation and be all about the cornea. So we want you to stay tuned. We're just getting started. But as we progress towards our goals, we know that first of all, cornea surgeons are going to benefit, their patients are going to benefit. And as that happens, investors will benefit. And ultimately, the goal of all of this is to see that the 10 million cornea blind benefit. If you haven't heard, I want to invite you to join our information center tomorrow at 5:30 at the Knickerbocker Hotel, where you'll be able to hear more about what SightLife Surgical is planning to do and get excited about innovating at the speed of need in the cornea space. We're fortunate to have Dr. Dick Lindstrom, Steve Slade, Audrey Rostov, along with Bill Link, to talk a little bit about innovations that we'll be looking at in the cornea space. So I invite you to come get excited about joining SightLife Surgical in our effort to make this happen. That day when no one anywhere in the world will wait for a corneal transplant or procedure. Thank you very much.